Good evening, everyone. We are live from a riverboat. We are live on a riverboat. It is moving. We're on a boat, and not in the fun way that one would sing and or rap about. This is the Global MEGAFist 12. This is our 13th episode. We have been doing this since March, and we are getting ever so close to crowning our champions for the year 2020. My name is Derek Osceola. I am joined by Lucille Crammelcorn. Lucille, it's good to have you here.
It's great to be here, Derek. It is, you say we started in March. It is a march towards the playoffs, towards crowning a champion for 2020. Hopefully a slow march towards getting off this hell-forsaken floating vessel of doom.
Yes, for those who may not have joined us at the beginning of our journey, we have been socially distanced on a riverboat. Normally, our previous year, 2019, we took place in the Nougaty Center in Branson, Missouri. A lovely, lovely arena. And now we're on a riverboat.
I woke up aboard the Atzapadlin mid-February, actually. I do not know how I got there. I was not wearing the same clothes I'm pretty sure I was wearing previous to that moment. But you know, we're doing the best we can with what we've got.
We sure are. So. This originally started as a social distancing experiment. Of course, you know, live events brought to a halt due to the current pandemic and the goings on and what had been us taking refuge in a one of those casino-style river boats that you see parked in the river in Branson, Missouri, has somehow taken a life of its own, and we are now moving through the waters, and I think we were going up the Mississippi River at some point. I don't exactly understand how this works, because again, I don't know how you go north. I don't even know how we sail this riverboat. This is like one of those stationary things, but we are moving at an alarming pace. Every morning I wake up, I see we are in a new locale. My phone does not actually give me any sort of information most of the time. What I do know is that the Global MEGAFist 12 has been going on, and we have the heavyweights in action tonight. This is the final group stage battle for our heavyweights, and our main event is a big one. It is Wanderin' Mo Volt, the jam band aficionado, Bonnaroo, whatever. He's just a giant fan of these music festivals. He is he's on a cruise ship that doesn't have any bands, but he's been doing pretty well this tournament. He's got Jeff Perkins, the newcomer to the heavyweight division. Handsome Jeff Perkins, the football player turned plus-sized model. This is 1 versus 2, Lucille. This is pretty much Perkins had a chance to make his way automatically into the knockout stage of this tournament. He's still got to fight a little bit more. He's not in the clear just yet. And Mo Volt has a chance to actually take first place.
Yeah, this is going to be a great fight. It's our main event for a great reason. You know, Jeff Perkins has kind of taken the Global MEGAFist proper roster by storm. That 3-1 record is pretty impressive considering who he's faced so far.
Yeah.
Wanderin' Mo Volt, though, I mean, he's looking pretty solid this year. You know, he is a tough guy to put away. I am really looking forward to these two big fellas just throwing their haymakers at each other until one of them falls down.
Yeah, Bolt's 2 wins this year are first-round knockouts, so he has the power. Plus, Jeff Perkins coming off his first loss in the Global MEGAFist in his most recent fight, and a big upset. Sticking with that Group A, we have Gabe Donahue, the man who upset Jeff Perkins, trying to fight for survival. Remember, we will know who will be at the bottom of the standings as well. There is much to fight for. We'll explain that in just a bit. He's got a fight with Fritz Milgram, a very surprising 2-2 Fritz Milgram, coming off of his most recent loss to Lonnie Fescue. These two are middle of the table, Neither of them are out of the water just yet. There is a chance, mathematically, that either of them can finish in the top two. It's all to fight for here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think if there's any signifier that 2020 is just a bizarre year, it's the fact that Fritz Milgram is at 2-2, just scrabbling for a position at the top of the rankings. And it's going to be a tough one. Gabe Donaghy is another tough customer. You know, both men coming into this fight 2-2. A loss here is going to be devastating. A win could vault you up, but it depends on how you get that win.
No doubt about that. Yeah, Milgram, of course. Milgram, of course, made it all the way to the finals before losing to Dr. Igor Tonik in last year's tournament. He went 5-0 in the group stage. He's got 2 losses already. Gabe Donaghy with 2 wins. He only had 1 in the group stage last year as well. And to round out Group A, the all-seeing Zoltan, 1-3, 5 points, taking on Lonnie Fescue. He's put up a strong 2-2 with 11 points. He's currently sitting in 3rd place, and he's going to try to do what he can to finish in the top 2. That is our 3rd fight in that group, and just to show what we're looking at, here is how the standings look at this moment. And really, there is not much room between fighting to make those top 2 and make it to the knockout stages and fighting for survival, as last place does in fact get relegated. That is what we're looking at going into. We'll of course know more as the results come through. Over in Group B, it is just the same. Lil 42, the answer, taking on Dr. Igor Tonik, a first-time matchup for these two. They were on opposite sides of the group stage last year. Dr. Igor Tonik, our defending heavyweight champion of this tournament. He won it last year. He's 2-2 as well. He's got a tough one in Lil 42.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, again, Fritz Milgram, Dr. Igor Tonik, both having a lot more difficulties this year than they really ever faced last year. Just everyone's getting better. Everyone's kind of catching up, it would seem. Lil 42, he's a strange, just a strange young man, but yeah. He is a solid fighter. He is no one to, you can't overlook him just because he looks like a complete moron. And when you talk to him, that kind of gets, doubled down on. He's a very special young man. But
he's our resident sound. For those unfamiliar, our resident SoundCloud rapper here on the Yatsa Paddlin' and here in Global MEGAFist 12, picking on the elixir salesman, the man who sells his essential oils and various elixirs and potions. Dr. Igor Tonik could be a great one. Not to mention this one, Marty Sweats, another newcomer who won from the Hyperfist last year, made his way into GMF 12. He's currently sitting at 2-2, and he is currently tied with Dr. Igor Tonik on points. Of course, the tiebreaker goes to Dr. Igor Tonik, who has the victory over Sweats. That is, of course, the first tiebreaker as we go head-to-head and who defeated whom. But he's got a fighter basically trying to survive and stay in the Global MEGAFist 12 in Dan Rodenta, who's only got 1 win to his name.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good matchup. You have the Marty Sweats, the man who enjoys eating for people to watch.
Yeah.
And Dan Rodenta, who, when he's, I guess, out on land, chooses to live amongst squirrels. So just 2 very distinct and different lifestyle choices for these 2 men. I think it's gonna be a good one. I mean, styles make fights, and there are no bigger disparities of styles, I think, than a squirrel man and a professional streaming eater.
Yeah, a stream eater. Yeah, it's never will you see 2 walks of life like this come together than in a place like the Global MEGAFist 12. And rounding out our card for tonight, 6 fights, of course, Oliver Lehman, the only undefeated this calendar year fighter in this tournament. He is 4-0. He's got a fight with Damian Adder, the man who is the snake charmer and might be a little serpentine of himself. two of our tallest fighters. It's going to be a rangy battle, but striker versus submission expert is this one. And the true question will be, can anyone stop Oliver Lehman and Lucille? This is why. Look at that disparity at the top of the table. 4-0 for Oliver Lehman. Has booked himself a spot already in the semifinals with ease. And it's really going to be a battle for second place. Literally any of those five can mathematically make their way up the table tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for Lehman. I mean, you know, in some sports, you know, when you've cemented your spot in the next round of competition, you can, you know, take it a little easier and try and maintain your physical well-being and health. Don't get any injuries going into the next round, but not in a fist fight. Lehman's got to watch himself. He doesn't want to get concussed, get an arm or a leg, you know, torqued out of socket. He's got to come out there and just stay on his momentum and do his best to put Adder away as quick as he can, because, you know, Adder is prone to grabbing submissions. Infrequent as his wins have been in 2020, he is one of our better submission specialists in the heavyweight division from last year and this year.
I believe all of his victories that he's had in all of Global MEGAFist 12 have been via submission, so he knows what he is good at. And with a serpentine-like grasp, he can make someone submit. That's a very good point that I think we'll address a little bit later on when that fight happens, about always being on for this. Of course, the rules for these fights tonight, so before we get to the action, all of our fights are amateur mixed martial arts battles. 3 rounds of 150 seconds each. That's 2.5 minutes. It'll be counting down in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. The 10-point must scoring system is in effect, with the round winner getting 10 points, his opponent getting 9 or less. As always, no to the groin, no hitting the back of the head. And it's amateur mixed martial arts, which means no one gets paid. Any of our fights that go to a decision, the judges will score the fight based on aggression, damage, control, and who provides the best offering that most appease the boat gods. For those who are new to this, perhaps, and are not familiar with what we're talking about with points and whatnot, this is a tournament style. This is the last of the group stage. 2 fighters from each group will move on to the semifinals, which will happen in the next episode for the heavyweights. But just to explain that, here is a quick explainer video.
The Global MEGAFist 12 is a grueling competition like nothing ever seen before in mixed martial arts. First, the 12 fighters are drawn at random into 2 groups of 6 fighters each. Each fighter will face off against the other 5 in their group. A win is worth 3 points, while a draw is worth 1. In addition, bonus points are awarded for how fast a fight is won. Winning in the 3rd round is worth 4 total points, a 2nd round win is worth 5, and finishing a fight in the 1st round gets you 6 points in all. After all 5 rounds of competition, the 2 fighters who finish in last place are relegated from Global MEGAFist 12 and must earn their way back in next season. They will be replaced by 2 fighters from the HyperFist qualifying tournament. The 2 5th-place fighters will be matched up against 2 more fighters from the HyperFist qualifiers, with the winners earning their spot in next season's Global MEGAFist 12. The top 2 fighters from each group advance to the semifinals, where the 1st-place fighter from each group will take on the 2nd-place fighter from the other. The winners of these fights will do battle for the championship. It all comes down to one thing: win, and win fast. And the title of Global MEGAFist 12 champion awaits.
tell them their love language.
Ready?
And already I can just tell that that's going to be a
Let's
mistake.
fight!
Yeah, absolutely.
Come forward.
You know,
Liver to overhand.
we didn't explain a bunch about Lehman. He is a financier, a banker, as it were. I guess it's fitting that he is, I guess, the 1% who controls the 99% of the points in his group bracket.
Inside to the jaw.
He is just dominant with four wins,
Wrestle him, man.
4 big wins this year so far.
And 22 points out of a maximum of 24.
Stay busy.
That means as simple as 2 wins in the second round and 2 big first round wins. He smartly gets up out of the guard of Damian Adder. Less than 45 seconds into this fight, and again, that's just the smarts of a man like Oliver Lehman.
Stand in the middle. Let him come and
You know,
fight.
you want to use the phrase a thinking man's fighter. He knows what he's good at, and he just keeps hammering those home. And that is, you know, we do try to talk about these fighters, and they have real jobs, they have real lives
Beautiful.
that have obviously been interrupted by this moving
Nice.
catastrophe that is the Global MEGAFist 12 2020. That being said, we always do like to talk about how their skills in life do often translate. And for Oliver Lehman, I'm not exactly sure how being a predatory lender / foreclosure, except for just the general tenacity and that just heartlessness to want to go and be out for blood. That's the only thing I can think of, really.
Yeah, the heartlessness, the ability to, I guess, analyze the most likely to, the person most likely to actually sign up for a loan, and the most likely person to, leave themselves open for a big left hook. Those might be somewhat comparable skills.
Yeah, sure. I'll believe that. Why not?
Yeah, as we're seeing there, he knows his best avenue of victory is not on the ground. So at any opportunity, he is backing away from Adder. Again, just knowing where he's got the best chance to win and refusing to fight anywhere else unless there's no other option. But,
And he's doing it very smartly. He's doing it by getting a takedown and getting right back up. So he's scoring and then bringing the fight back to where he needs it to be. As we are into, round 1 is in the books, and Oliver Lehman. I'm just looking up my info from last year's tournament.
You start working.
The man went 4-1 in the group stage. And of his wins, 2 of them came from the first round,
You gotta impose your will.
1 from the second round, and 1 from the third round. He ultimately fell to Dr. Igor Tonic in a first round TKO. That was a battle that we were looking forward to, and actually they went and did it again in the first fight of this year's tournament. And Oliver Lehman did get a little bit of revenge. He lost via TKO at the end of 2019, but he started off 2020 by knocking out Dr. Igor Tonic in the second round.
with the punches now, all right? We can't hold back now.
Gentlemen,
Second round
ready?
finish at this point. 5
Ready?
points up for grabs. And for someone like Damian Adder, who's in
Let's
5th
fight.
place, you do get that spot. If you're in 5th place, you do get that spot on the finale, but you're fighting for your spot in next year's tournament. That's not necessarily a place you want to be. But I guess anything to avoid the last place automatic drop is always a good thing too.
absolutely, anything to stay relevant, to stay viable in the Global MEGAFist, and not have to go through the Hyperfist tournament, which, as we've seen from the guys coming in this year and the Hyperfist currently going on, there are some tough fighters in that Hyperfist. They just haven't had the benefit of making it through to Global MEGAFist proper yet. But, it'll be interesting to see how our current crop matchup with the Hyperfist guys once that mix-up happens.
We're already seeing a 3-1 Jeff Perkins and a 2-2 Marty Sweats. Those are the 2 new additions this year. There will be 2 new additions from the Hyperfist. As well, we're going to know who those 2 additions are actually today. As the 3rd round brings in the automatic qualifiers, and we will continue to follow through with the the secondary path to determine who the 5th place fighters
Nice.
will have to face in the finale. So it's easy to just win 3 fights in a row in the Hyperfist. We say it's easy, but it certainly isn't. The easier path is to win your 3 fights in a row and make the automatic spot. It is, of course, a double elimination tournament style. What we're seeing right now is Lehman. Oh, he gets taken down. It's the first takedown I've seen Adder actually score. And he gets back up too, so, you know, I think I don't know if he's been convinced to play into Lehman's game. This is, you know, they say don't trust a snake, and I guess maybe don't trust a lender as well, so this is just a very cagey affair, perhaps.
Absolutely, and you know, Adder doesn't have a whole lot of, oh, big shot.
On the way down, too.
Much of. That's it. It's over. I was trying to say that Adder didn't have much in the way of option of, you know, picking where he wanted the fight to take place because Lehman was so good at keeping it standing, and we see why with that knockout.
Wow, what a yeah! He gets the stoppage here late in the 2nd round. Gets 5 points. Doesn't need those 5 points. He was already gonna be top of the tables, but Oliver Lehman goes 5-0 here in the group stage. He is looking to right the wrong of last year where he was bounced out by Fritz Milgram in the semifinals. He disposes of Damian Adder in easy fashion. Adder just had no match for him, and it really makes you wonder who is going to be the match for Oliver Lehman. I don't know. It might have to be someone from again, thinking about Tonic, and I think about Milgram, and Milgram may not even make it. Tonic may not even make it to the semifinals.
Yeah, I do not know. It's going to be interesting to see.
Got another, 5 more fights. That's only our first one. Our second fight is happening right now, and it's Trevor Serrano. Oh, it is not Trevor Serrano versus Walter Birch. That is a bit of a mistake. My apologies for that one. Coming up next, I believe, is it's Zoltan versus Fescue. Our graphics department is not exactly being paid at the moment, but it is Marty Sweat and Dan Rodenta, and this is an interesting one. And again, we're going to politely ignore the love languages because they make me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's best to just kind of ignore them as best you can. And just focus on the action on the page as 2 men who, oddly enough, stuff their faces for different reasons, but they seem to both get a lot of enjoyment out of it, I guess.
I don't know how different the reasons are. I'm with you. I am with you on the similarities. I mean, I guess it's savoring now versus savoring later.
Yeah, I mean, Rodenta, I guess in theory is storing food for later, and Sweats is just packing it in as quick as he can.
That is fair, yeah.
I've been unable to watch any of his streams, as you said. You know, we do not have the best internet connections here on the Axapadlin.
I had to assume he also can't, unless he has some sort of technology with him. I assume he's probably at a loss. He's just, I mean, we've seen him at the buffet, and the man. I mean, you know, you don't say this often about people who are just gorging on food, but art. It's strangely artistic. And oh my goodness, well, Rodenta is laying him in heavy.
Hands up! Hands up!
Both guys really going for it in this opening frame.
Well, they both have a lot to fight for. Dan Rodenta is at 5 points. Adder, after losing, is at 6. So Rodenta is fighting to survive the automatic drop. Marty Sweats has the possibility to make it into the semifinals as a GMF 12 rookie. I have to say his spot is safe. However, he needs to outperform Dr. Igor Tonic, which obviously he doesn't know that yet. Yeah.
Control his posture!
Very impressive.
Watch for him to grab your
Yeah,
leg.
absolutely. He's been able to control
Pressure,
Rodenta on the
pressure.
ground. Is
outside hard.
Marty Sweats. Bit of a reversal
You got
here
1 minute.
is
Way
the
to work.
last 30
Head
seconds
movement.
took away.
Hands up! Hands up!
I think Rodenta
Nice.
should back away and force a stand-up because he was
Triangle.
landing some solid shots
Good.
on
Swim it up.
Sweats.
Perfect work.
This is very surprising. But he was looking very good again. Rodenta only one win
Come down with a
this
good one.
year, and
Beautiful.
that was his most recent one. He had an upset TKO victory over Dr. Igor Tonic.
Time, stop.
So
Time, guys.
again, a man that Marty Sweats had trouble taking on, and we go to the second round here in this one as well.
Okay, he's tired. His legs are
Yeah,
tired.
really good first round.
Okay, push the pace.
You know,
Push the pace.
a tale of two halves, really. You know,
on the ground, you can
Sweats
catch
was
him all day
looking
long in that triangle
hard on
and
the
that
feet,
armbar.
managed
You can catch him all
to
day
get the
long.
fight to the ground, and was
Gets that back, you
pretty
fight that 2-on-1.
dominant
If he gets that body
throughout
lock, you gotta fight
the
it
time
off.
spent on the mat.
And you swim that arm over. Okay? You swim that arm over. the other side.
No doubt about that. Well, we're seeing, yeah, again, a nice takedown from Sweats, who, again, has his victories were via TKO and knockout, so neither of these fighters are really known necessarily for their submission acumen. As I turn to my my notes from last year, and
Now,
Rodenta
on the
went
ground, you
3
can
and
catch him all day
2
long in that triangle and that
in
armbar.
last year's
Are you ready?
tournament.
Are
Just
you ready?
missed out. He finished 3rd place. And
Let's go, guys.
wins over
Fight.
Gabe Donahue, Dr. Igor Tonic
Get it
again,
backing up and make it
and Duff Magnuson, who was ultimately
Perfect.
relegated, all via TKO and knockout. So again, he knows what he's good at, and
There we go.
he's taking it to the ground
Maybe
again.
give
Maybe
more
looking to ground and pound his way to victory, and a guy like Sweats, who has all that power.
Use the elbow.
Maybe this he's got mounted. This might be a good solution for
That's it.
Rodenta. We're seeing a pretty strong, at least a dominating first 30 seconds, but he lets him up like you were saying. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah, Rodenta
Outside hard.
seemed to scout this trip, this hip throw that Sweats likes to do. He's got
Stay up. Wide bang.
I guess a
Wide
lot
bang.
of his binge eating, weight comes down on his hips, so he can just use that as a fulcrum to get people to the ground. But wow, big shots from Sweats.
Yeah, perhaps.
Stop. Fight's over. Fight's over,
Right
guys.
to your hips or right to your thighs when you eat it. Maybe that's what he's doing, and he has actually put the end to Dan Rodenta. Marty Sweats has laid the gauntlet down for Dr. Igor Tonic. A big second round victory.
Big heavy shots from on top.
Wow.
From Marty Sweats. Just not to make a joke of it, but he was really feeding those punches into Dan Rodenta.
Very good indeed, Lucille. He does, in fact, have a big 5 points. He is at 14 points. That means Dr. Igor Tonic is now in a must-win situation. And for Dan Rodenta, that will sadly mean days in the Golden MEGAFist 12 are coming to an end. Of course, Damian Adder able to finale a playoff fight. But for Rodenta. He will have to find his way in 2021 back into this. However, we are going to keep things going. We've got, we were talking about it before, we actually have, we're talking about how Dan Rodenta will have to fight in the Hyper Fist. Damian Adder will have to fight for survival on the finale. Well, let's find out who potentially is replacing Dan Rodenta. Our first Hyper Fist segment is coming up right now. The Hyper Fist. These are the fights that have happened. Here they are. Our first elimination.
Finish him.
Again,
Beautiful.
There were 3 fights happening. Ali
Nice,
on
nice.
the beat.
Work that wrist control. That's it. Keep pressuring him once you get him moving
The
back.
second
Post that
round
hands up for the kick. Just keep
is
picking
battle
at him.
with Bill Huggins. Are just lovely gentlemen.
You go now. You go.
All right, stop. Fight's over, guys.
Victory, sending out of the Hyper Fist. What ended up happening? Bill Huggins, lovely guy. He's
Don't let him pass.
our grief counselor and
Relax
just
here. You're fine. Relax here. There we go. Hands up. Hands up.
Nice
However,
elbow.
he is going to be fighting to still make it in. This is Julian Easel.
Stop it.
Taking on
Head
Ludapa,
move it.
our
Double up.
weather-
Double up. Boom, boom.
This is our impressionist artist.
Let those hands go. Nice. Do the end. Use your right up.
Easel. And he did not waste any time.
It's over.
Here in this one. But the final, we will know who the first of 2 heavyweights to join the MEGAFist 12.
Beautiful. Head move it.
Be. It's either going to be Gus Magnuson or Grant Clado. Clado got so close in last year's. And this will ultimately come down to the second round.
Hands up. Hands
Lucille
up.
is starting to
Control.
go. And Lucille, we saw Guff Magnuson not fare too well. I believe he actually went 1-4 in last year's tournament. However, with this victory, he has gone 3-0. And Guff Magnuson makes his way back into the Global MEGAFist 12. Look at it right there. Magnuson, welcome back to the big show. For Grant Clado, he faces the winner of Huggins and Ezel. That is what we are seeing. And Lucille, this is really getting to be where we're starting to figure out who is making it out of this Hyper Fist. We're seeing them drop one by one, and we've already guaranteed one spot to a heavyweight. We're going to see Guff Magnuson back in the Global MEGAFist 12.
Oh, absolutely. I was really glad to see that Guff has, I guess, revitalized his career. He is looking much better as he's ran through the Hyper Fist. It'll be interesting to see him back in action, against somewhat familiar faces and some of the new faces from last year's Hyper Fist winners. So
No doubt about that. Yeah, he's our elementary school security guard. Bit of a different profession, but it takes a lot to takes different strokes to move the world. Anyway, he is going to be the first one. We'll find out who the other automatic qualifying heavyweight will be in just a little bit. But coming up next, we have another big one, fighting for survival. The all-seeing Zoltan faces Lonnie Fescue, and that fight is happening right now. advantage to Fescue, but they are very close. I would say they are hypothetically exactly the same.
You ready? Are you ready?
Yeah, this should be an interesting fight. Fescue
fight.
loves to get the fight on the ground and use his
Come on, baby, 1,
big
2.
dad power to get a ground and pound finish.
Watch him
Strong
trying to
dad
bait you.
energy,
Jab,
absolutely
jab,
right.
jab,
He
jab.
loves that
Hands
ground
up.
and pound.
Hands
That is
up.
how he
Yes.
has gotten a lot of
There we
his
go.
victories.
Get your feet
He's
on
2 and 2,
Start letting those hands
knocking on the
go.
door of the semifinals. After I believe
go,
he
start, go.
made it last year. I'm trying
Don't
to
do
remember if he
anything
made
sloppy.
it or if he
Hands
just
up, sit
missed
down.
out.
Don't
I
stand there.
believe he made it.
Let
last
your
year.
hands
I'm trying to
go.
remember. It was him and Milgram, and I believe he was the
Leg
second
kicks.
fighter to qualify.
Yeah, I believe that sounds correct. I don't have my notes. Oh, big kick
Oh,
from.
wow.
from
Well, he
Milgram.
starts off by just. Well, he's got to weather a big storm from the psychic, who is facing potential elimination and
Step on the
relegation.
outside. Follow, pop the hands.
Yes, Fescue in fact did finish 4-1. His only loss in the group stage last year was to Milgram. So he is looking to get back into the same spot of the semifinals, but he is he's finding himself in a bit of bother. He knocked out Zoltan in the second round last year. Zoltan is doing quite a bit. He's actually got Zoltan's only win was a knockout of Gabe Donahue in the very first fight this year. He's lost 3 straight.
That's it.
But maybe he just has that back against the wall energy. And he seems to be pushing forward. He's doing he's taking the fight into Fescue's world, and he's doing pretty well until I just say it. Curse to the commentator.
Women, drop the elbow.
Yeah, it's tough to maintain top position on Fescue. Fescue
Beautiful.
has, strong hips. He can
triangle.
buck and roll and reverse very easily.
Coming up on 1
He's
minute.
attributed it partly to a lot of
right now,
time
breathe
spent
in low.
roughhousing with his large boys.
Yes.
1 minute. Put your right
He's,
arm on his
I
head.
did not get a good number. I think it
go
might be
now,
6
you
or 7
go.
large
There it
boys
is.
he has.
Punch his face.
We're talking about his children, right?
Follow that up.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry,
okay.
Relax
You
here,
never
you're
can
fine.
tell at
Relax
this
here.
point. I mean, we have very strange people who make their way into the Global Megafist Hall, but I have to always clarify that someone who is just
Nice.
a father of
Use the
6
right
or
elbow,
7
get up. Hands up.
that is just
Hands
very
up.
obsessed with his lawn.
Yeah, fight for
That's about as
elbow.
normal as you get these days.
He's bleeding.
Yeah, especially stuck
Time.
on a paddle ship going just all over the place.
He gets that back, you fight that 2-on-1. If he
Good,
gets that body lock,
good opening
you gotta
round.
fight it off. You gotta
Certainly is. And we
You
are
swim that arm
heading
over.
to another one.
swim that arm over. Find those
Fairly
punches.
even, but
Hey,
Zoltan
find the knees
is,
right after.
is-
Get to the body flip too,
He's
okay?
obviously coming in looking for a finish.
He's tired. His legs are tired from
something
trying to hold that
obviously
pace.
needs to win.
Okay, push the pace.
But,
push the pace on it.
He's looking pretty good. He's coming out with the tenacity. He's got that will to win at the very least. So that is much that can be said about that. And he's looking very good in that previous round.
Yeah, he had that nice, I guess, question mark kick to the head to really stumble Fescue.
One
But
quick thing, when you
Very
go
strong,
jab low, come
surprising.
back with the
I would
jab.
expect
Don't
that
come back
from,
with the
from a man of his
Are you ready?
size and stature.
Are you ready?
yeah, he's got a bit of a mouse forming under his
Let's fight.
eye. It's I assume from all of Fescue's little ground and pound.
Yeah.
Make him reach it and make him pay.
That can definitely close up and really hamper Zoltan's seeing ability, though. I guess he can just use his regular eye and his other eye and his third eye to see.
Well, it is an all-seeing eye, as I would imagine, as he is the all-seeing Zoltan, and he's seeing just fine as he saw his own fist connect with Fescue's jaw. He might be in for quite the upset.
There we go. Perfect work.
But Fescue he's recovered very well. Again, all that horsing around.
Get inside.
He's a stout fella.
Yeah, he knows how to take some damage. Again, all that roughhousing and horseplay with his children.
Throw that left leg down
And
the
of
middle.
course, as always, he attributes any of the success to the other important thing. Lawn care lands a body shot, and oh, down goes Zoltan. That was just a body
There you go,
kick.
nice.
That, oh my goodness, he walked right into it, and it just hit at the perfect spot. That's, I mean, a man by the name of Darn Tootin would talk about
That's
kicking
it.
the
Do
spleen.
not let him turn
That looks
into
like it was more to the liver, though.
Yeah, that was
Watch for him
that
to
was
grab your
a
leg.
terrifying body kick. I'm surprised, not to be too graphic, but something didn't exit the body from that powerful kick.
Oh, there might have been something rupturing inside for all we know. I mean, anything at this point from Zoltan
Keep
is
moving.
just heart and will and just
Control that
pain
posture.
tolerance, which, oh my gosh. I mean, you see boxers get dropped with a vicious
Work that
body
wrist
shot all the
control.
time. You see kickboxers that gets right up into the
Control his
floating ribs,
hands.
pushes the liver right into the lungs. It is vicious, and he is still fighting
Hold his
past. He's in
hands
mount right now,
down.
so it is not looking good
Beautiful.
for Zoltan, but he is
Go, go,
fighting
go.
on, and that is
It's
something
a-
truly to be said for him.
It's a question of survival, and surprisingly, Zoltan is surviving this onslaught from Fescue, as Fescue is looking for all
Nice,
sorts of
nice.
finishing positions. The back
Yes.
mount, kind of a backside control,
Take it,
anywhere
you got
that
it.
can.
He's going for a
that can-
submission, like a rear naked
Take it
choke, it looks
deeper.
like.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
very low.
There we go.
Well, I think just anything to dominate the round. You might even, if you're judging this, that might even be 10-8 with the amount of damage that Zoltan sustained.
That back, you fight that 2
He
on
head
one.
to
If
the
he gets
third
that bottom
round,
up,
and
you gotta fight it off. And you swim that
you don't
arm
really
over.
head to a third round all that
Swim that
often,
arm over.
Lucille, with these
On
heavyweights.
the ground, you can catch him all day long.
Not
in that
for lack
triangle,
of
that
trying.
arm.
These
You
two
can
have
catch him
tried
all
to
day
put
long.
an end to this fight in the
Okay.
first 2
He's
rounds,
tired.
haven't
His
they?
legs are tired from trying to hold that.
Absolutely. I mean, both men have been very close to being finished, and you know, it's a surprise that either one is still standing, because these have been some heavy shots they've absorbed. You see this big knockdown.
I think the one thing that maybe was keeping this from being a 10-8 round is that happening in the same round. Goodness me. Wow.
Fescue is just so scary when he gets on
This is the
top.
round
He
he's
gets
gonna
on
break.
top and starts
You hear me?
landing
gotta take it to him.
those
You
big
go,
haymakers from
you
on
ready?
top.
Are you ready?
That is a tough thing to survive.
Let's
So,
fight.
again, we talk about that freaky dad strength, and there's nothing more terrifying than having to know that you have to overpower a father. Let that one hang in the air, but we are here for the third round, and right off the bat, Zoltan gets cracked with an overhand right, and he drops. Fescue's got him on the fence. He's got him wobbled. He's got him down, and Zoltan just survived by grabbing. But this is, in boxing, they stand and they grab to kind of to let the time
There you go,
to
nice.
clear the cobwebs. But this is exactly, he's grabbing him and he's grabbing right
Hands up,
into
sit down.
Fescue's wheelhouse, and he is just putting the hurt on. He's gotten to his feet. This is amazing. What
Get him
fight
back
from
and up,
Zoltan?
make
You'd almost
it
hate to see
big.
him get. You hate to see him get relegated with the
Tap,
fight
tap,
he's
tap,
putting in, but that is literally what we're seeing
Misses, make it
at
fake.
the moment
In and out.
on
Make
the
it
line.
fake.
Absolutely, he is surviving some very difficult situations, and the fact that he's still up and throwing is incredible. I mean, it's oh my God!
Just as we say it, I'm not able to hit him anymore. Well, adrenaline gets the best of you, you start throwing more shots, but my God, Lonnie Fescue reminds us of the power he holds.
My goodness! I mean, what?
A shot, what a knockout. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
You say he didn't have to hit him, but there are so many times Zoltan dropped and survived and survived and survived, and I think Fescue is just like, I have to make sure this man is not getting back up again.
It is a violent sport, and that's why we love it. But yeah, he got the knockout and gets the 4 points. Lonnie Fescue now has put himself into position, perhaps, to take his way into the semifinals. He's gonna have to hope the right result happens in his event. But 15 points for Fescue puts him in second place at the moment. What a vicious, violent knockout
Wow.
for Fescue. That might have been one of the most violent ones we've seen so far in the heavyweights. Well, coming up next, again, not Sever Sereno versus Walter Birch. I apologize again on behalf of our graphics. But I believe coming up next, It's either going to be
Milgram and Donahue.
Yes, Gabe Donahue and Fritz Milgram. From Group A, Gabe Donahue, Fritz Milgram. Lots to fight for in this one. Donahue, has been relegated. Donahue is now awaiting. He's now trying to fight his way
You ready?
out of the 5th place spot.
Let's fight.
He doesn't have to fight for survival at the finale.
Come and fight.
Here we
Don't
go.
stand there.
First
Get
round,
moving.
Milgram in the yellow gets dropped early on by Donahue, who
Hands up.
I think
Hands up.
stumbles just a bit trying to go for that diving punch
Step me
in.
outside. Keep
Donahue
control.
looking to got him to
Come on,
knock
head
to the
moving. Let
ground,
your hands
but
go.
Yeah, Donahue is one of our smaller heavyweights out
It
there.
is, yeah.
Inside now. Pummel
Giving up a
inside.
lot of size to everyone, but especially Milgram is one of our bigger
Try to get a
competitors.
takedown if you can.
I did find it a little interesting as the highlight package for both men played. Donahue is 2-2, 3-6 overall. He has most of his wins coming this year, and Milgram is just the opposite. He has most of his losses coming this year. Both men at 2-2. They big drastic differences for both men from this year to the last year, I'd have to say.
Yeah, no doubt about that. It's been a bit of an awakening for Donahue, and yet he still finds
Inside
himself
to the
here
jaw.
at the fighting for potentially survival in
2-3-2.
in the finale episode. It's very possible it happens.
Mix it up. Mix it up with your punching.
And he's well, this is not an easy fighter to have to go up against. Is Fritz
Jab,
Milgram.
jab, jab. Use that jab.
Absolutely not. Oh, big shots from Milgram. Oh, look at these combos. Body, head, body, just
Get him
He's
back
looking
and up.
very,
Make him
very
pay.
good. He's just got such
Look for that
striking
uppercut.
ability. The man has electricity coursing through his veins, and that's
Watch
not
it.
even me being figurative.
going.
Like,
Keep
he
bleeding.
literally
Keep
has.
moving.
He's a scientist, and this is one of his experiments. And, goodness me, well, he is just hammering and clobbering Donahue.
Wrestle him, man.
yeah, that clinch
Get him
elbow just
back
over
and
the
up and
top.
make him pay.
I think it sliced open Donahue's cheek pretty bad. I'm seeing,
Stay
or
busy.
at least
Here's the position
bruised
we
him
wanted.
up pretty bad. I'm seeing a significant mark right under
Body shots when you're in that
his eye.
tight.
First the
I
hands.
think it's
There you go.
from that big
45
elbow.
seconds.
Yeah, it looks like it. And, oh, he drops him again. Well, it's not for lack of trying. He's absolutely, but he gets dropped right on the same dot. Oh, my goodness me. What are we seeing here? What a fight. What a fight.
A fortune.
And it is, oh, what a goodness. Lucille, I don't even know how I can describe what we just witnessed.
I mean, Milgram got dropped at least 2 times, and on the second one, he simply stood up and I guess said, "No more of this," and put Donahue away.
Wow. Well, puts the finish on. Donahue does, in fact, put himself into that 5th place spot, and he will have to fight for survival on the finale in December. For Fritz Milgram, he just bounced Lonnie Fescue out. Prince Milgram is currently sitting in second place. We will revisit that, I think, in just a bit. I think we're gonna pivot over to the other side. However, we are looking for quite the battle as we get this going. Well, again, we have more Hyperfist battles to talk about. You know that Guff Magnuson is one of two to make the automatic trip here into the into the second round, into next year's tournament. We're going to find out who he gets joined by in just a moment. It is happening right now. Yet another fight that is for survival in this one.
1-6.
To the Global Megafist lead to the
Throw that left
Hyperfist.
right down the middle. Hands in.
And we're seeing this fight ended up going to a decision, if I recall correctly. My notes are saying
Off the hands.
it is Alan Toole. No, it does not. It actually ends up in a knockout. Oh, there you go.
That's it. It's over.
Happening. Alan Toole getting the win over Dr. Quinlan. He stays alive. Quinlan is eliminated. Kamake versus Van Hart.
Way to work.
Two fighters who did not make it past the Hyperfist last year.
There you go.
And
Nice.
again, they are
3 outside
closer.
hard.
Kamake,
Nice.
man who,
Nice.
unfortunately witnesses just a horrific tragedy.
You gotta fight for the underhook.
Happens all the time for him, I guess. And
Head control. Take the back.
taking on
Main throw.
Van Hart, who sells bootleg exercise videos that feature himself, and he strikes fierce and strikes fast on Kamake. He ends up getting the decision victory, so it'll be Toole versus Hart. However, one of these newcomers will make it to in 2021. Will it be
Make him reach it and make him pay.
controversial and confrontational?
You go.
Professor Andre Carson, or will it be the South African entrepreneur, billionaire, Errol Cheeks?
Finish it. Hands up. Sit down.
Goes to a third
He won't
round.
go
It was
forward.
even throughout the fight. It went
1-6.
to a decision.
Hands
But
for
welcome to Global Megafist 12. Despite getting dropped early on in the third round, Professor Andre Carson joins Guff Magnuson. And for the other fighters in this bracket, Cheeks awaits Toole and Hart. See who will make it to the tournament next year. Well, we know right now that two of our fighters from the Megafist, both Guff Magnuson and Professor Andre Carson, will replace effectively Dan Rodenta and the all-seeing Zoltan. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare in next year's tournament. But that is next year. Coming up in just a moment, we have two more fights. Coming up next, Lil 42 The Answer, Dr. Igor Tonic. That fight is happening right now.
pulling up a pretty sizable 30 pounds in
Let's
the
go,
weight
guys,
department. But you know, he's kind of made it work so far. But Tonic is just a powerful guy on the feet. If he can get it to the ground, he'll land some big haymakers and hammers on the ground.
The man went 4-1 in the group stage last year, and he did in fact win the entire tournament. So 6-1 last year. Only done 2-2 so far. One of those losses to Oliver Lehman, but he's looking to find again. He's on the clock here. He's got to win, and he's got to win fast.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the quicker the better. It's going to be tough though. 42 is not an easy out. He's rangy. He's lanky. He moves weird in and out of the cage.
He does, yeah. We can easily say both fighters are in fact safe. Lil 42, I believe he would need to. No, he is in fact. He would not. There's no mathematical way that he can make it to the semifinals. However, for Dr. Igor Tonic, he needs to win in this or the second round. What it will do is it will tie him with Marty Sweats on points, and it will put Tonic in second place on the tiebreaker, as he did defeat Marty Sweats in episode 7. Closest to margins for Dr. Igor Tonic, but there's a man who can sneak out a win, a victory from the jaws of defeat. It is the good doctor.
He won't come forward. Stand in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. He is.
Push forward. Push
He has
forward.
put some
Don't retreat.
impressive performances inside this octagonal-like cage structure, whether it's in Branson, Missouri, the good old Nougaty Center, here on the Atzapadlin. You know, he is a dangerous foe to face.
Yeah, Tonic did win the group, of course, last year. He scored 22 from a possible 30 points. 22 from a possible 24 points in the wins. Wins in the second and first round. Basically, he knows how to put away fighters fast. He defeated Oliver Lehman and Gabe Donahue in the first round last year. He got TKO wins over Damian Adder and Guff Magnuson in the second round. But this year's a bit different, but he knows that he needs to do exactly the same thing.
Time, stop.
One round
Time,
in
guys.
the books. And how does this change for someone like Dr. Igor Tonic, who knows what he needs to do
After you
coming
angle
in?
off, fire on.
And
You
a win
own him
alone is
when you
not
spin him. You understand? When you angle off,
Oh, it
come back
puts a
right
lot of
away.
pressure.
You got it? Angle off, come back
You know,
right-
when you're trying to get a specific outcome, a specific result in a specific time frame.
Up square.
Work out
you know,
those punches.
it can
Remember,
make you a
defense
little
and
too
offense at the same
aggressive,
time. Okay?
and leave
Split that
yourself open
offense,
for,
cut that angle.
you know,
Split that
some
offense,
dangers coming
cut
back
that
at you. You just got to be a little patient and look for the openings, because, you know, everyone's fairly undisciplined here.
They will be there. Those openings are going to be there.
Yeah, it's just a question of being able to spot it and capitalize on it in time.
No doubt. Excellent,
yeah,
excellent point. Yeah.
And we saw that at the end of that ring. Like he caught the round kick, the
Are you
body
ready?
from
Are you ready?
42, and he dropped a nice hook in response. You know, didn't
Let's go, guys. Fight.
Didn't flatline low 42, but it definitely added up to put some damage on the SoundCloud rapper.
Well, the tournament life of Dr. Igor Tonic, I was going to say, is 150 seconds away from being decided, but he's already dropped him early in this
Stop,
second
stop, stop.
round.
Fight's over. Fight's over, guys.
And it's over. He's done it.
Wow.
Dr. Igor Tonic will join Oliver Lehman in the finals, or the semifinals, excuse me. He is TKO'd Lil 42 the answer, bouncing Marty Sweats from this tournament. And a great showing for Marty Sweats. Gotta hand it to the rookie Sweats. Finishing third overall. Again, we'll recap that in just a bit. Wow, what a win for Dr. Igor Tonic. Back to his winning ways. Do not count this man out. He has booked himself a ticket to that Final Four. He has won it in the past. He knows what it takes to do it again. What a win. What a victory.
Yeah, the door was left open enough just for him to sneak in, and he has made it to the playoffs. So, congrats to the good doctor.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, again, it is not Trevor Sereno versus Walter Birch yet again. It's almost comical at this point. Our main event is coming up right now with Jeff Perkins and Wanderin' Mo Volt. Here is Lucille with it.
Yeah, we got our main event. Perkins edging out Volt on the height and reach. Love language again. It's best to ignore it. Perkins, for being a plus size male model, he does wear his weight well. It's I guess sculpted to the lower body a bit better. 235 is a fairly svelte size for a guy as big in certain areas as handsome Jeff
Stand in
is.
the middle, let him go to fight.
He is, again, a former football
moving
player,
the outside.
tight end,
Back up and then run and throw it.
plus-size male model, and he is going right back for that ground and pound. Volt, however, goes right for a guillotine. He left the head wide open.
Don't lose
This is
it,
a
don't lose it.
surprising tactic from Volt. I don't think we've ever seen him go for a submission before.
Yeah, he must figure that handsome Jeff isn't too versed in submission defense.
Beautiful.
Or at least he figures, he's best served to work his submission offense if Perkins is going to be on top of him, which Perkins has won most of his fights by getting on top and pounding out his opponents.
Certainly has, and he's already gone through with that strategy right now. He's really just going, and he's got that mount already. Volt looks like he could be in trouble.
Control his posture!
Put your right arm on his
This
head.
is a tough spot for Wanderin' Mo Volt. He's a big, rounded
But
pound. He is
just working it. He is just hammering away at Volt. Volt is still taking. That is the thing with Wanderin' Mo Volt. It has taken a lot to put him away. The man does not go down and out of a fight easily at all.
That's it.
He withstands so much punishment.
Yeah, he is a tough guy, and he's got the position reversed on handsome Jeff, and looks like he's going for another submission here.
And again, he's going. It looks like it's a rear naked choke. He's kind of got one arm in. It doesn't look that tight, but he's really cranking for it, and he actually gets it. Oh my God! Is he tapping?
Oh my God!
We have saved the upset.
Wow!
Wanderin' Mo Volt. I am at a loss for words, Lucille. I can't believe what we have just witnessed.
Yeah, I can't say that Volt made it look easy because he was pushed up against that fence and he was getting his face punched pretty hard, but he survived and he took handsome Jeff's back and sunk in that rear naked choke. Got the tap in the first round. That is impressive.
Wow, is all I can say. Wanderin' Mo Volt not only gets the win in the first round, he takes the top of the tables. And we will go ahead and go through that in just a moment. What a victory, what a surprise victory. I think almost I think it might be Wanderer Movolt's first ever submission victory as well. I take it back. No, he did get a submission victory last year against the all-seeing Zoltan. However, what a night of fights we have witnessed. Let's just go through them, Lucille. My God. Wanderer Movolt, Fritz Milgram, both with first-round victories. Handsome Jeff Perkins gets upset. He has now lost 2 fights straight.
Wow,
That is surprising for a man who came on so strong here in the heavyweight division. And Lonnie Fesky with a 3rd round knockout. We don't need much of a drum roll. We've been talking our way through it. Let's see how Group A finishes. There it is, the slimmest of margins. All-seeing Zoltan is relegated. Gabe Donahue has to fight for survival in the finale. Wanderer Movolt and Jeff Perkins make their way to the semifinals. Fritz Milgram out on the tiebreaker. That is heart-wrenching.
Yeah, Milgram just couldn't get it done. Gosh, it's so disappointing. I mean, he's been such a strong competitor last year, this year. Just wow, such a razor-thin margin to lose out on heading to the next round.
Again, we talked about it already, but our Group B results, Dr. Igor Tonic and Marty Sweats both with 2nd-round TKOs, and Oliver Lehman with a 2nd-round TKO. And again, we already talked about it. We knew who was first place, Oliver Lehman, but Dr. Igor Tonic worms his way into 2nd place with that tiebreaker over Marty Sweats. A tiebreaker deciding 2nd versus 3rd place in both cases. Sweats and Lil 42, we'll see them again in the Global MEGAFist 12 next year. Damian Adder has to fight for survival on the finale. And for Dan Rodenta, well, it is off to the Hyper Fist for him, sad to say. But Group B, well, it's been Lehman's show, hasn't it, Lucille? And Dr. Igor Tonic means that, well, that's going to be 2 of last year's 4 semifinalists back in the semifinals again, in the sense of it's Lehman and Tonic again.
Yeah, it's Group A, a bit of a mix-up, but wow, Tonic and Lehman just continuing their dominance from last year. This is going to be really, really good and interesting breakdown for the playoffs, because you have Volt and
Tonic.
And well, Handsome Jeff, who no one on Group B seen. I'm not sure who Volt has faced previously last year.
Neither of them. Yeah, he didn't make it out of the group stage, so he was in the opposite group of Lehman and Tonic. So our semifinals are going to be 2 fresh fights: Volt versus Tonic and Lehman versus Perkins. What a couple of fights those are going to be. Those are going to happen in November. That's our 16th episode. We have to get through the rest of the group stages as well. But my goodness, coming up next week, this is our next one. It is the middleweights doing battle as well. There is the lineup for that one. I'm going to give you a second to kind of look over that one, Lucille. Are there any of those fights that you are looking forward to in this one next week here on the Yatsa Paddling?
I mean, it's a bit of a cop-out to say all of them, because all these fights are going to be interesting in their own ways. Gosh, to pick just one, wow, I don't know. I don't know, dude. It's tough to pick just one. They all have something interesting about them, and
they sure do. Well, I think actually, if we look at it, all of them have something hanging in the balance as far as what's on the line. Every single position, I think, in the middleweight is up for grabs. I think the only thing maybe in the bag is 3 Ezekiel. Subset Alpha has just blown away the competition. And it's been Pagliacci and Wu, but Wu lost his last fight. So suddenly Pagliacci has a bit of breathing room. We'll talk about that, of course, more next week, but that is what we have to look forward to next week, October 19th. Same time, same place in the sense that the ship is the same, but different location, because who knows where we'll be. That's all I can really say at this point. Who knows where we will be. But we'll be here on this ship. That's all I know anymore. And we'll be back next week, Lucille. It's been lovely calling these fights for you. This has been a great night of fights. For Lucille Cramblecorn, I'm Derek Osceola. We'll see you next week here on the Ats of Paddling for more Global Mega Fist 12.